Alright, so in terms of thinking about distance learning, another crucial thing is to think about if you have a child or teen that has a hard time sitting still. I mean, for many of us, whether you're a child or an adult, it can be hard sitting in front of a computer a good part of the day. Certainly breaks are really important. The other thing that can be really helpful is to think about how to harness fidgeting if you're someone or you have a child or teen that has a hard time sitting still. So the key thing with any sort of fidget is that you want to be able to maintain full eye contact with what's going on. So for example, if you have, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of a fidget spinner, which are pretty much banned this way from any school, but if let's say I'm fidgeting with this, if I'm looking at this, I really have no idea what's going on around me visually. And so the key is whether you're doing it with your feet or your hands, to maintain full eye contact when you're doing. So with the feet fidgets, the idea is you can basically move a little bit. So with this, for example, if let's say I was sitting down, I can basically just kind of squish on this a little bit, and it allows me to kind of get a little bit of movement in, but my whole upper body can stay still, which is great because whether I'm actually standing at a desk or sitting, I'm this part's still, so it's not going to be a huge issue on video. Whereas if you have a child that's this or doing that on video, it's a lot harder to stay focused, as probably they distract themselves, they may distract the classmates. Other things you can also do are just a little balance board. And so if you're sitting down, what you can do is, or actually if you have a standing desk, same thing where you can balance. It gives you a little bit of movement in, but still maintains the upper body still staying pretty still. And these are foot pedals. These are actually pretty similar to the one I mentioned there. Those are inflatable. These click back and forth. These are actually great if, at some point in school returns in person, and especially in elementary school where you don't move classes that often, they actually fold, so they're pretty compact. These are called kick bands. A lot of you have probably seen these in schools. These are pretty standard. You attach it to a chair, you hold it out, and basically you put your feet on it and pull back or push up, and it gives some movement. One or two other ideas are, so if you follow me over here. So let's think about the chairs. So here we have a wobble seat. So what's really cool about these is that you can sit, but they kind of have a little bit of built-in movement. So see how I'm still sitting, I almost have to move to kind of keep it still. And so it actually works out really well. Another idea is a yoga ball chair. And they make these in all sorts of different sizes. So clearly we have a child version right here. I have my own adult version right here. And it's great because you can sit on it. You get some movement in, but not so much that you're wiggling all over the place. Whereas if you stuck a lot of kids on a yoga ball, pretty much they may roll around the room. I mean, I have a yoga ball in my office when things are normal, and a lot of times it's hard for people to sit still on them. So I can certainly understand, well, this is really helpful because you get the best benefit of a yoga ball while also being able to have it contained. I would say one final thing I want to show you is over here. So thinking about this as the desk, which obviously it is a desk, but in terms of how to harness fidgeting. So over here, we have a wiggle cushion. So what's interesting is there are a couple different things you can do with it. So one thing is you can actually put it on a chair like this, and so you sit on it, and so it gives a little bit of movement, but you kind of have to almost have a little bit of movement to hold it still, which in turn can be great because then the rest of your body, such as the upper half, which is on screen, is still holding still. The other thing also, or you can also, it's flexible, so you can also put it on the floor. And then the child puts their feet right here and moves a little bit while their upper body stays still. So there's really a lot you can do to harness fidgeting, which in turn can really improve focus. But in general, aside from improving focus, a lot of times it'll also increase motivation to keep participating in school and help kids to feel better. Because for a child or teen that can't sit still, it can be incredibly painful to have to sit there hour after hour, even with some breaks participating in online school, but having these types of things can make a world of difference.